and 7 Big Ten Players of the Year during his tenure. He earned 7 Big Ten Coach of the Year honors, 4 NCAA Regional Coach of the Year accolades, and the 1987 NCAA National Coach of the Year award. In his career at IU, he coached 2 Big Ten men's medalists and 6 Big Ten women's medalists, and as you may or may not know, as a professional, Sam played full-time on the PGA Tour from 1962 through 1969, and he was named the Indiana 1972 PGA Player of the Year. He was also inducted into the Indiana Golf Hall of Fame in 1973. He was also a 1998 inductee into the Women's Golf Coaches Association Hall of Fame as well. And he received the Bill Orwick Award in 1999 for outstanding contributions made by a non-alumnus to the IU Athletic Department. Please direct your attention to the video screens.
Congratulations, Sam, on your induction tonight into the IU Hall of Fame. I know how much you mean to the university, how much it has meant to you, but more importantly, how much you have meant to me and to all the other student athletes that were lucky enough to play for you. I remember as a sophomore when I learned that Coach Fitch wasn't going to return. I certainly spent a lot of agonizing days and weeks just waiting for that phone call to see who the next lucky person was going to be. And I can tell you that at that point in my life, I wasn't sure if I was going to play professional golf or if I even wanted to, or whether I was going to follow my father's footsteps and be a pilot for Federal Express. I just didn't know. But I can tell you also that when I learned that you were going to take over the program, my desire to stay at IU was firmly planted. We spent a lot of time together over the years. I've been to your house. I've spent a lot of time with Sue and a lot of time with your family, and it's something that I've always appreciated. Many people don't realize that, just a couple weeks prior to my win at the PGA Championship in 2003, we spent, I don't know what we spent, 2 or 3 days. You spent 2 or 3 days with me trying to teach me how to chip again, which I kind of laugh at even to this day. But we worked an awful lot there at the foundation, and I'll never forget it. So I could go on and on tonight, but my congratulations goes out to all the inductees, especially you, Sam. You just have meant so much to me, and I miss you, and I look forward to seeing you again soon, but for now, congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sam Carmichael.
Great one. His dad did a great job. I would like to thank the nominating committee for this honor. It's very special to be part of this wonderful Indiana University athletic tradition. And I would also like to thank all the other recipients tonight and all the other wonderful Hall of Fame members that are already inducted. I'd like to thank my friends who have come to share this with myself and my family. And a special thanks goes out to all my former players who are in attendance. I accept this award in honor of all the players who played at Indiana. Without your commitment and your dedication, we would not have achieved all that we did. You bought into the program and made it a success. You have meant so much to me and my family, and we love hearing from you throughout the year, and the Christmas cards I get of you and your family are so special. A special thanks goes to my wife, Susan, who was always supportive. She was known as Mrs. C to the players. And when there would be a conflict of tournaments, she would travel with one team or the other. Normally, the men's Big Ten would be the same time as the women's regional. It was a tough decision for me, as I wanted to be with both teams. As the Big Ten was the event of the year, I would go with the men. Mrs. C was a very good coach, however, and twice, maybe more, she got the teams through the regionals and into the NCAAs. She had a very unique style of coaching. After the round, she would have the kids maybe practice a little bit, and then they'd head for the mall. Good idea, right? When it came time to eat, Mrs. C didn't go to fast foods. Mrs. C knew where all the best restaurants were. No fast food for her team, and the teams played well for her. If you want stories about the golf teams, the men and the women, just corner her, and she can keep you laughing for hours. I don't remember all the stories, but she does. When I applied and received the coaching position, I did not intend to coach at Indiana University for 23 years. I was doing a lot of teaching to the general public who did not have time to practice their lessons. I wanted to see what I could do with players who had the time and were committed to improving. One of my friends, playing partners, and maybe a student, was at the time Coach Knight. I told him I was going to apply for the women's coaching job at IU when it became open. And no doubt that when I received the call that I had been hired, Coach had had a lot to do with it. So when I started the job, I thought I could teach, but I was not sure what the coaching aspect was all about. And at the time, Indiana had a number of top coaches, namely Bob Knight, Doc Councilman, Hobie Billingsley, Jerry Yeagley, Lynn Loring, and Sam Bell. Now, how's that for a group of National Hall of Famers? I listened, and I sought out information from all of them. Coach Bob Fitch, also a member of the Indiana Hall of Fame, was also very helpful. At the time, Buzz Kirpius, who headed up the academic office, was a great help. She would tell me how Doc would do this, or Jerry would do this, or how he would handle that situation. And Buzz was great. Her office played a major role in the recruiting process, as well as keeping the students on track after they became Hoosiers. Her staff of Anitra, Mary Rose, Marge, and Donna were fabulous. They did a wonderful job of taking care of all the athletes at Indiana University. After 3 or 4 years, I would tell my wife, Susan, we will leave after this particular player would graduate. And then I would recruit another player, and they would come in. And I'd tell her, I said, no, I've got to stay till this person graduates. Well, that went on for 23 years. I would like to conclude my story with my very last men's team. It's a kind of a story about believing. We were headed to the Big Ten at Michigan State, and we had not had particularly a great year, but we had improved with each tournament. And as we were traveling, one of the players said, "Coach, if we win the Big Ten, can we shave your head?" Well, figuring we probably would finish 4th or 5th. And, I said, yes, Ohio State was Minnesota were in the top 10 in the country. Michigan State was at home, and they had a really solid team. At the time, I had 2 scholarship players. Randy Lean, who was a first-team All-American and a Walker Cup player, and Josh Brewer. My 3 walk-on players were John Barry, Steve Wheatcroft, and Corey Sullivan. I had decided that I was going to give up the men's team, so I had saved the scholarships for the new coach so he could recruit his own players. Naturally, I said yes to the haircut. During the tournament, the players would all come up to me during the rounds. The coaches, we would stand on the par 3s and we would help them with their club. We knew what the other players were hitting, the wind conditions and those things, and they would come up to me. And they would, the whole tournament for 4 rounds, they'd come up and they'd say, "Buzz, buzz, buzz." They would pretend that they were cutting my hair. Now here these kids were, 3 walk-ons, 2 scholarship players, and they're playing against some of the very best teams in the country. Well, they thought they could win. And you know what? They won the Big Ten. On the way home, they all went to sleep. All the teams sleep, going and coming. I know they've been up studying all night, right? So on the way, I'm sitting there and they're all asleep. No one's saying anything, so I figured, well, they forgot about the haircut. So when we arrived on campus, one of the boys says, "Coach, where can we cut your hair?" And I said, "Well, boys, you don't have any clippers." And about that time, one of the boys pulled clippers out of his backpack. And he says, "Oh, yes, we do." They believed and they accomplished their goal, even though the odds were not in their favor. It was a special 23 years having the opportunity to be around college athletics. But it was all the players who made the difference. And I thank them, and I would like to have them all stand up. All my players who came today. And we thank all of you, players, and the ones that didn't make it. Thank you for all the wonderful memories. It was special.